Hello and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Steph, and if you're not new, thanks for coming back. Today's video is another video in our Fife Free Cleaning series, and if you're interested in watching the other videos in the series, you can click on the playlist on my homepage. This house has a little bit of a unique story because we don't actually have any of the residents' background or situation. It was just a case of they contacted me, asked for help, sent me some pictures, and I turned up and did the clean. This video will have a combination of voiceover and original audio sounds. I don't play music on this channel, and I will try to keep the talking to a minimum in the Fife Free Cleaning series. If you are interested in more chatty voiceovers or in more realistic cleaning, not so much the extreme cleans, then please check out the other videos on my channel where I clean my own house and go about my life and talk about myself and my family and my life basically. So the beginning of this video will be sped up quite a lot. It is mostly rubbish collection. The resident of this house, all I do know is that previously they did have the council come in and clean the property, and this is kind of what it's like since then. However, she did say that she was too embarrassed to let the council workers into her bedroom, and so that was her priority. So in this video, we tackle every area of the house. We just make it better. Nothing is perfect. I spent probably between 3 and 4 hours in this house. Generally, 4 hours is about how long I spend on these free cleans, unless I do a couple of visits. This was just one visit. There was one unexpected thing in this house, which I will get to when we get to it, but for now, as I removed those bags from the kitchen, there were maggots all over the floor, so that is what I'm just doing right now, is cleaning up the maggots, because I didn't really want to leave them there until I got to this bit. So I cleaned it and then I sprayed down the floor so it would have time to sit before I go back and clean it again later. Anyway, I will let you enjoy some original audio and I will jump back in with little bits of the story of this clean as we go. One thing you will notice during this video is that I tend to jump from area to area rather than doing one area to completion, and that's because when I edited the video I didn't edit any of the order, so what you're seeing is exactly how I tackled this house. Sometimes when a house is overwhelming or there's quite big jobs to do, then I struggle to spend fixed amount of times getting like one area completed. I'd rather do little bits all over the place to see an overall big difference than seeing one area to completion while the rest of the house is a mess kind of thing. Now, the thing that was unexpected in this house is this bedroom. So the reason that I'm bagging up and throwing away all these duvets is because they were all saturated with urine, and the lady also asked me to get rid of this mattress topper, which was also saturated. Now, what I don't think she realised was that the mattress itself was saturated underneath. So one of the things that I did was I reached out to my local community pages and asked if anybody had a mattress that we could use to replace this one, because I really did not want to leave this property like this, because there was no way she would have been able to sleep on that bed, and I'm really not sure how she has already been sleeping on the bed. So all of the duvets had to be thrown out, the mattress topper was thrown out, and then the actual mattress itself was thrown out. So it was actually quite fortunate because the rubbish company that I'm now working with, which is called Limitless Waste Management. And if you are in Fife and you do need rubbish removed, please do contact them. I highly recommend them. So they came out to remove the rubbish, and they had seen my post on Facebook, and when they arrived, they actually arrived with a mattress still wrapped in plastic. It was second hand, but it hadn't actually been used, so they didn't go out and buy it, they just happened to get it. So they actually had just done a house removal where the person had wanted everything thrown away, but a lot of the things were either brand new or in really good condition. And so we were quite fortunate that we just happened to get that mattress. So we do replace the mattress for her, and they bring it in, and I have left that in the video for you guys to see, so you can see the workers who are behind the donation as well. So I did speed up quite a few of the repetitive tasks, or the ones where you weren't really getting any close-ups, but don't worry, I have slowed down any of the actual cleaning tasks. And also I am aware that I have put these clean sheets on the bed, but don't worry, because this particular corner of the bed is not saturated in urine, because as you can see, you know, that big ring is kind of where that is. So even though I did put them on the bed, they are not on the area that is contaminated. And there was an example of Scottish box dancing. So this is the point that Limitless Waste Removal are coming in with the new mattress and taking away the old mattress. I am just talking over this section because they were chatting with each other, and nobody really enjoys the chipmunky squeaky noises when people are talking, which is the only benefit to not doing these cleans with my friends and Danielle, is that I can use original audio, but that is literally the only benefit. I miss her so much. Come back, Danielle. Everybody tell Danielle to come back. No, I do get a lot of questions asking how Danielle is. She's fine. She like we've said, you know, she's going through a lot just now with her family situation. But no, she genuinely is fine. and we are hoping to try and get some more, like those 3 videos up on the Fife Free Cleaning channel that we have promised you guys before Christmas. It is just trying to find time where we can both sit down and do the voiceovers, and I have to still do the editing as well. The reason I didn't tackle under that bed was because I was specifically asked not to. So there wasn't much direction in this house, but she did ask, you know, can I remove the rubbish? Can I tidy the bedroom? And can I wash the dishes? And not to touch under the bed, and just to bag up those clothes because they were, she said they were clean, but I think they could obviously do with being washed again as they've been on the floor. But yeah, so that is why I didn't do under the bed. I honestly have no idea what that little like musical trilling noise in the background is. Obviously, I had my headphones on during this clean, and for anybody that is interested, I was listening to fan fiction, and this one was called Love and Other Historical Accidents. Can't quite remember who it's by, but if you want to read it, you can find it on Archive of Our Own. But I was listening to it on Spotify because there is a playlist called the Dramini Archives on Spotify, and that's where I listen to fan fiction when I'm doing these cleans. Also, if you do like this kind of content, please do like and subscribe and comment and all of that stuff, because it really does help YouTube to know that people like this content and push it out to others. And then it is you guys watching and interacting with the videos that allows me to do these free cleans. Sorry, there was the phone notification. Anybody that has followed us for a while will know that there is always a phone notification when I'm doing these voiceovers. When I do these free cleans, I just have about 3 or 4 products that I use. I use elbow grease to tackle, obviously, grease and dirt. I use Domestos Power Foam to tackle bathrooms. I use Fairy Washing Up Liquid, which is the equivalent of Dawn dish soap, and I use that obviously also to cut through grease, but I mainly use that for dishes and cookers and things like that. And then I use a multi-purpose spray, which can be used for flooring and all the other like wood and all that kind of thing. So they're basically the products that I use. If I ever use other products, I will let you guys know. And then what you don't see, because I have had questions about this, is obviously I spray the products, I let them sit, I then wipe, like that I then scrub and then wipe, and then often there are multiple like rinsing and wiping, but I don't always keep all of that in because, you know, cleaning is a journey or a step-by-step process, whatever you want to call it. And so I do try and keep the video as short as I can without cutting out too much of what I do. But yeah, so that is kind of the process, and they are the products that I use. For anyone wondering, the lady that lives here during this clean, she went to a neighbour's house and she did actually take her cat with her. Also, a lot of these houses that we clean have unfinished flooring and also need decorated. Now, the goal in this house was to clean enough that the lady can get somebody in to decorate, and so I'm not able to like mop these floors or anything like that because it is subfloor and not actual like laminate or vinyl or anything like that. So the best I can do in this house is sweep the floors, and then somebody can come in and lay carpet or whatever it is that the lady is having put down. Just a little warning that the toilet cleaning will be coming up. So first of all, I spray everything down. It takes 30 minutes for this product to work, and so then I went away and had a break and had lunch and then come back and do this. So you don't really see inside of the toilet, but the last time I did a toilet clean, I was asked if I could have given a warning because somebody was eating, which I do not recommend eating while watching these videos. For anybody that doesn't know, what I'm using right now is called a pumice stone, and they are absolutely amazing at cleaning toilets, even the inside of the toilet bowl. They're really good for lime scale. You do have to wet a pumice stone before using it. And for anybody that does know this and is thinking, you know, why am I pointing out the obvious? It's not obvious to everybody. I had only heard of pumice stones when I first started doing these extreme cleanings, and somebody else told me about it. And so it's okay to tell people obvious information, because everybody learns something new every day, and everything you learn is obvious to somebody else. You can't really see it on the camera, but the tub was really satisfying to scrub, because there were quite a lot of like dirty marks that I managed to scrub away, although it was a little bit of a workout. Now, as you can see, I am clearing the windowsill, but I do only clear half of it, and that's because the sanitary products are not, like, they're all individually wrapped, and I simply did not want to touch them all, or also I just didn't really have time to move lots of individual items, so I just thought I'll just clean part of the windowsill, and I'm sure she can manage to do the other half herself. I am 5'3", and so trying to reach things like windowsills and windows is quite difficult for me. In the last free clean you guys saw me do, I managed to climb up onto the bunker and clean the windows, but that was very scary and very dangerous for me to do. But also, at least there was a chair that I could use to climb up. There wasn't really anything in this property or any space for me to stand, so unfortunately, even though the windows were in need of a good clean, it was not something that I was able to do. Now, as you can see, I am washing dishes. That's not something you will see me do very often. It is my least favourite chore. Don't like washing dishes even in my own house. Usually my husband does it, or I use the dishwasher. So this lady was very fortunate that she specifically asked me if I could wash the dishes, and there weren't too many that I did manage to get it done. And for all you people that like rinsing your dishes, you'll be happy to see that I am rinsing at the same time, because when I first started this channel, that was not something I even knew that you should do, even though it does seem quite obvious, which goes back to my earlier point that something that is obvious to you might not be obvious to somebody else. But yeah, I absolutely hate washing dishes. It's one of those tasks that it causes me a lot of pain, because standing still but cleaning dishes, it's just you've not got the same amount of movement as when you're cleaning normally, and it just is quite sore on the back. But yeah, I left it in, although I did speed it up quite considerably, because who likes watching people wash dishes? If that's something you do like watching, pop it in the comments below, increase my engagement. Turns out I have to keep talking over me washing the dishes, because I just try to not talk, and there is a very loud, like high-pitched squealing noise going on. I think it's the boiler. So where the camera is situated right now is right next to the boiler. So in the clip earlier on, when I was wiping down the sink, you could kind of hear it, but it's a lot worse right now. Obviously I didn't hear it in person on the day, but the camera picks up noises that the human ears do not. So frustratingly, the noise is still ongoing, and I think I figured out the problem. So in the little clip that you just seen, that was at 1x speed, which I showed you that because where the camera was, you didn't actually see me clean the area, so that was a little before and after of the area. So in that 1x speed, you could kind of hear that like background buzz. Well, turns out when I speed the video up to this level of speed, it makes it a much more high-pitched background buzz. And so I think for the majority of this kitchen clean, unfortunately, I am going to have to talk. But if you do not like me talking so much, just mute it and you can listen in silence instead. So as you can see, there was quite a lot of sugar spilled on the bunker. The sugar is quite difficult to clean because it crystallizes, so the best way is to heat it up so that it can melt, and then it's easier to wipe. However, I did not have much time for that, and so I first go in with the cleaning product and then I try and scrape it away, but it was a little bit stubborn. So the technique that I am using is to put a warm cloth over the sugar and help that to melt that way, which you will see in a minute. Although I don't manage to leave it for as long as I would have liked to leave it for. However, it does a huge improvement and gets the majority of the sugar off, so that is kind of the technique that I use. I do also clean down all of the small appliances. One of the things that I don't do in this house is the cooker, which the actual stovetop is looking pretty good. And then I also don't do like the microwave area. I just clean like the front part of the bunker for that, because I did end up running out of time and have to leave. I'm not sure if it was so much as running out of time as my body decided, that is enough, you've reached your limit. So I'm not sure what this is. I think it's some sort of slow cooker. Actually, I think it's literally says slow cooker on it, but I've never really seen a slow cooker this shape. It's quite deep. I think it would be pretty good for soups. And speaking of, it is coming into soup season. So what is everybody's favourite soup to make? I don't really like really thin soups, so I would say they were more like stews in my opinion. So I really like soups that can be blended and they're nice and smooth and creamy, because I used to absolutely hate soup, but now I can kind of tolerate it, and I do have a couple of favourites. So if you have a favourite soup recipe, drop that in the comments, because I genuinely want to try some new recipes, and I always prefer to go for recommendations rather than just looking it up online, because it can be a little bit overwhelming trying to find recipes online, because there are so many millions of different ones and you never know if you're going to get a good one or a bad one. It's just a little example of that, which, by the way, I know I said that I was going to try and keep the voiceover relevant to the clean. However, there's only so much I can say about the clean, and since I do have to talk over this bit, this is why we are digressing. But anyway, speaking of failed recipes, I recently had a Halloween party and I was making a lentil dal, but I had a friend who is like Indian culture, and so all the food that she makes is Indian food, and she's an amazing cook. It's one of my favorite cuisines to eat. So I was trying to have it made before she came, because I knew I'd mess it up and I didn't want her to watch me messing it up. So anyway, that didn't work out, and I was still in the process of making it when she arrived. And then a little bit later on in the night, the lentil dal was a huge success. It was, and it was very tasty, but obviously it just wasn't made in the way that she would have made it. And so later on in the night, once we'd both had a bit of a drink in us, she was like critical, but in like an adorable way. So she was like, and I'll have to show you how to make it without putting coconut milk in it, because we do not usually do that. That's just a way for the takeaways to bulk out the ingredients. And so now I'm going to learn the official way to make lentil dal. That's now the end. Thank you so much for watching, and please enjoy these before and after photos. I will see you in the next one. Bye!